Hello everyone, I'm Rashmi Bhandari and today I've got two of my students. I've got Kirtan Prabhu and Sansia.
Yes.
Yeah, and both of them are from the ENC branch and they've got into Kyndryl, alright. So just to know more about Kyndryl and them and how the whole process is there, they are here with us. So Kirtan, can you tell a little bit about yourself and about the company?
Yeah, I am P. Kirtan Prabhu, studying my 4th year bachelor in Electronics and Communication department. I got placed in Kyndryl as an associate technical engineer. In Kyndryl there are 4 domains, that is cloud, networking, then labs and site reliable engineering. So we will have a 4 months training based on these 4 domains. Then later that on training they will allocate us the role. So we will have an option which domain we can select after the training.
Okay. Alright, and Sansia, a little bit about yourself and also something about Kyndryl which maybe Kirtan has not told.
Yeah,
Alright.
so I'm Sansia and I'm from Electronics and Communication department. So I got placed in Kyndryl a month back, and it is basically our role is in cloud computing, and this company, the role that we're getting, it has no coding involved. So it's all about cloud computing, and it is a spin-off of IBM.
Yeah, so that's an important part. It's a
Yeah.
spin-off of IBM, and people don't know that, alright? So yeah, and so what was the eligibility criteria?
The eligibility, you have to have a CGPA of 6.5, and you have to be from CS, IS or circuit branch.
Alright, and Kirtan, so what were the rounds? What were the first?
There were actually 2 rounds. First round was based on English assessment. There were total 10 minutes. So 4 minutes for one area of questions and 4 minutes for another area of question and 2 minutes. This 10 minutes was like the question will be keep on arriving, how fast you are going to solve this, and there was negative marking.
Yeah.
If you answer it wrong, 1 mark will be detected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there were 5 options, 4 were the answer and 1 was like we don't know the answer, so
Alright.
you'll get 0.
Alright.
If you select the wrong answer, 1 will be detected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 3 pattern there were like preposition type questions, then spelling error checking, then odd one out, like that.
All
So
right.
first round was English assessment.
Okay, so it was sort of tough, right? Because the negative marking is
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, that is
And you
one.
should be fast.
And you should be fast.
And,
but if you say you don't know, it is 0. So
Yeah.
that's at least safe.
So they asked like spelling questions.
Uh-huh.
So you get really confused. The spelling words were like so similar, and even if they're like similar,
Uh-huh.
you will choose the wrong one.
So can you
And
give some examples? Do you remember some of the spellings?
Like
like
receive.
outrageous.
Receive.
Receive.
Okay.
Yeah, outrageous.
Outrageous. So it
Something.
looks like fairly okay, but when you see those options,
You are just blank.
And it's
Alright.
a competition, no, ma'am. Like many students will be
Yeah.
applying for the exam.
Yeah.
How fast we are.
all right, and only 10 minutes.
10,
Yeah.
4 minutes for one session.
Alright.
Question will be keep on and
But you get 4 minutes for 4 minutes for what session? I didn't get.
like preposition.
Okay.
There were one
And how many
check.
questions were there in that 4 minutes?
Like 4 minutes, it will keep
Oh, it
on
goes
arriving.
on.
Like
Alright.
100 we
It's
can attempt,
unlimited.
200.
Uh-huh.
It's based on how many questions you have
Attempt.
done correctly.
All right, all right, okay, all right. So then, what was the next one?
After that, so if you did good in this communication test, then you are directly into the final round. If you had in the border, then you're going in the GD.
Okay.
So in GD, there were like they divided the shortlisted people into 2 groups.
All right.
So each of them had a topic. One group had about digital payments,
Uh-huh.
pros and cons, and another one had about pandemic
Pros and cons. So this was only for the people who were in between.
Cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
border.
Yeah, borderline.
In
Between
borderline.
pass and fail.
The people who have done very well,
They didn't have the GD.
they didn't have the GD.
Oh, great. All right. So did you have the GD?
No.
No. All right. Clear. Straight clear. All right. And then what are the next one?
Then it was technical round.
Uh-huh.
So we had to introduce ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Then it was based on resume.
Uh-huh.
Only
Yeah.
on resume. They used
Yeah.
to check the resume for 1 minute. And I had mentioned about the problem solving.
Uh-huh.
She asked me what and all problems you had solved.
Uh-huh.
So I kept on mentioning. And for 1 minute, it
Problems like what? Technical
Like
or
technical.
Okay.
was coding type of
Alright.
problems. Like then he asked me give an example of searching algorithm. It's just a one question he asked me. Searching algorithm you write. I wrote and he told me to explain it. I explained it each pin to point, what the code does, what is the output. So he was impressed with the first question itself. Then he told to give an explanation about my project. I mentioned about my EC project which I had done in my academics. So later he asked me what to know about the company. So I had searched in LinkedIn about the company when it was like they were founded on 2021, just 1 year back. So I mentioned about the services they provide. So he was impressed. Then he told me whether you are ready to join for night shift. So it just whatever the question they asked, we had to answer. So after that, yeah, it was just a combine of technical and HR.
All right. And so how long was this whole process for you?
10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15. For you,
For me, it was like first I introduced myself and I gave a little technical introduction also.
all right.
like,
So
what
you
I
tell me
do.
one thing. So when you're giving introduction, how long was it basically, and what all did you add?
Okay, so my introduction was for about like 30-35 seconds. I introduced myself, whatever the normal basic things, and after that I directly went to what programming languages I know and the concepts I know. So I told about C and DBMS. So based on that, the questions were coming later.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just add on here. See, actually, when they ask you to introduce yourself, it's called the elevator pitch. Why it's called an elevator pitch is because it basically takes a minute for the elevator to go from one floor, from the ground floor to the top floor. So you get 1 minute. Okay, so your introduction should be roughly around
Roughly
1 minute, and where you will add about your basic. Maybe you talk about your parents, your background,
Yeah.
and there also see those points which are actually going to help you. For example, if your father was in the bank, so
Yeah.
naturally you would have traveled, right?
Yeah.
So you can say my father is a banker and I've traveled, I've spent my childhood in all these
Yeah.
places. So that's going to help you because it shows that you are people, a person who's exposed to various cultures, so you are better than someone who's just lived in one place. So also add in that, even in your background, something which is a little positive, all right? And then you can also speak about your technical stuff, because it's a technical interview, right? So you have to talk about your technical, whatever your strengths and all, whatever it is, and then you can add a couple of things about your hobbies. But if you are doing that or your interests, be very sure that you're thorough with it and it's genuinely yours,
Yeah.
because there are going to be questions about that.
About the parents thing, ma'am, you were right, because they did ask me about where my parents are.
Huh.
And when I told that my dad is in abroad, he had asked me that, are you going to go there after a few years?
Yeah.
And obviously I said no.
All right.
So,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
So because whatever you're saying, everything is being noted off, because we
Yeah.
think it's very casual
Yeah.
and it's not happening. And then you don't have to introduce your name, because already they will say, okay, Kirtan, tell me about yourself. So you don't have to say, I'm Kirtan from EC and Sahyadri. He knows all that. So
Yeah.
add something which is not
Even
there.
there.
for some
Yeah.
candidates, ma'am, when they told about the hobby singing, they have to actually sing.
Huh.
Sing, yeah.
Okay,
They-
that is at least safer.
Yeah.
Because people say, I know, oh, I'm interested in football. Then okay, what's the measurement of this thing, field or whatever? So who's the Indian captain? I mean, if you don't know, and the women's team captain or whatever, or maybe the latest in the football, whatever. If you don't know, then it definitely shows that you're not really
Yeah.
into it.
Instead of messing up, just say that you don't know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will keep on asking more
All
questions.
right. Yeah. So then, for you, how was it? Introducing yourself, because everybody thinks, oh, it's just self-introduction. But the self-introduction, depending on the introduction,
They'll ask
it is
questions.
they'll ask question and whether they're going to go ahead or not, right?
So
Yeah.
mine was like, he also asked me about my resume. He asked me detailed things about my project. What was my contribution in that project? Not just technical, even like how did I support my teammates and all that. Because they take a note of it so that they'll know how we handle their clients. So they asked, what would you do if you have conflicts with your team members?
All right.
And all. So there was a lot of HR questions. And coming to the technical, since it's cloud based, so I knew it was cloud based, so I had brushed up on those topics. So he had asked me about the cloud services. He had asked me who gives the Azure. So it's about Microsoft and all the levels in cloud computing. So they know that we are not that thorough with all this, but they're making sure that at least we are interested and we have done little
Yeah.
homework in all these things.
All right.
So that is one thing in technical, and they will ask you about your favorite subject. So I told DBMS, and in electronics I told digital system processing. So based on that, in electronics he doesn't know anything about it. So he just asked what is digital
Yeah.
systems. I just told about.
All right. But they also have a laptop, so they'll Google it out and
Yeah.
they'll see whether what you have said is right or wrong.
Yeah, he did. Like he had a laptop in front of him.
Yeah.
And so,
All right.
yeah. But then he didn't ask further
All right.
questions. But DBMS, he had asked me some questions about levels, properties, ACID, like
Yeah, these are definitions, or what were they asking?
these are the properties, and there are some levels, and So in BBMS, there are some principles and all those things. So if you go in Google and if you see the interview questions for BBMS, the same questions they're gonna ask you.
All right.
In interviewbits.com and all, you get that.
Interviewbits.com. All right. So that's a new one. I've not heard anyone saying that. So that's good for
Even
interviews.
Geeks for Geeks.
Geeks for
for
Geeks.
Geeks.
Okay, there's so many things, right? People say, so which is good. I mean, Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, Geek for Geeks. So how should a student start off? Suppose there's a first year student who's watching this and they've not done anything like this. So which are the
So first, obviously for APTI and all, India Picks, and
Okay.
then when it comes to technical questions, I recommend to see the Geeks for Geeks because they go like fully concepts.
okay. All right.
So there's like every topic it's detailed, so it's better if you go for Geeks for Geeks,
Geeks for
first.
Geeks. All right.
And Hacker Rank, it's like pure coding,
Coding.
so that will be later.
That will be later.
Later.
Okay, I remember some student telling do with Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, and then go for Geek for Geeks.
No.
And
No.
according to my suggestion, my
Yeah.
experience,
Huh.
first while learning anything, better watch YouTube videos.
Okay, which
Yeah.
ones? Tell me some
Like
good
Code
examples.
with Harry. I started my programming journey with Code with Harry.
Code with Harry.
Harry.
Okay. All
So
right.
after watching that videos, then you can go for interview question, or else it will be a mug up. type.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't understand anything.
All right.
And if you want like a complete thing of all coding, technical, everything, then the W3 Schools is the best one.
W3
For self-learning.
schools. That is for
Yeah.
self-learning.
Self-learning, just a
Self-learning.
reading.
Okay.
So that is good for cloud, web development and all.
All right. So when did you all come to know about these websites?
Like from the second year.
Second year.
Yeah.
First year, no one told you.
No, ma'am, actually we were watching your videos.
And someone, okay, good. So that helps out, all right.
Yeah, like your videos really helped us.
Okay.
Like you asked detailed questions to them, so we got to know from that, and we did our homework from there.
So you would say go to Geek for Geeks, then Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank,
Okay.
and then what's the other one? that you-
W3 schools,
W-
W3 schools, and then you said something for something
YouTube,
interview
bits.
interview bits and for
YouTube, Code with Harry.
Code
there
with
are many
Harry.
channels.
There are
And
many
there is
channels.
one more, that is Prep Insta, that is
Huh.
the best for basic questions because they had even asked some people about palindrome, reverse string and all.
reverse
You get the
string.
simple codes from
Codes.
this website called Prep Insta.
Yeah,
Prep
Prep
Insta.
Insta, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So I think it's never too late. I think students, when you're in the first year, you have so much of time and energy. Start off, at least just see
Yeah.
what's happening in these
Yeah.
Consistency
platforms.
matters, ma'am. Like
Okay.
if you start a programming for 1 month and if you leave it after again 1 month you come back, it will be zero.
All right.
So it should be a consistency while learning.
So what would be
If it's late also it's fine.
Ah.
If you start your preparation before 5 months, but be consistent for 5
Alright.
months. If you have prepared your programming in first year and you do it for second year,
Ah.
and you come again at third year for studying, it's gone. It's
all right?
zero.
So it's better you do it every day. So you would say every day something, some little
Yeah,
time.
little one programming.
One
activity.
program at least. And students, see, I'm telling you, see, okay, if you do it a little late, maybe in the second or third year, okay, but if you have time, especially if you are a first year, you still have time, right? You have, because people think it's in the final year, but final year in the beginning, as soon as you enter the 7th semester, right? In September, your companies are coming. So actually the final year doesn't matter. It's up to your sixth semester. So people think, oh, I have enough of time. And you know what? I was talking to a couple of juniors and they said they're in the third year and they've not started their projects. So actually, it's such a dangerous situation. I'm like, oh my God, you've not done. They have not really done hardcore projects, right?
Okay.
And they should be doing,
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
should.
Your interviews, because they will ask about your projects.
Yeah. It's they will check the algorithms that you have used in your project, so you have to do
Yeah.
the project, and also like they will ask you how exactly does the algorithm work and all that. So it's not like you get it from GitHub and you just
Copy
put
paste.
it.
All right.
You can't do all.
All right. So you all have a GitHub account.
Yeah, we do.
Great.
So you have put it on your resume.
No, we
You
have.
did.
Profile links.
But if you
and-
can, it is very nice.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
mentioned, right? Oh, that's nice. Because it's very nice to have a, what do you call it, a GitHub account?
GitHub, yeah.
And
GitHub.
that you can put it on your resume.
Even lead code,
Lead
how many
code.
problems you have
Oh,
solved, that link you can paste.
Oh, so you have that in your
Yeah.
resume. Good. So what all you have put in your resume?
Mainly, I have seen my friends, ma'am. They had mentioned just they know about the language. But if you are particularly focusing on a role like web development, Android, so when a company comes for that role, you will be apart from other students. So they'll directly take for their company.
All right.
So one suggestion for juniors is that just don't stick on to one programming language just for place. For internship, you can send your resume. For internship, it will be a just resume shortlist. There will be no aptitude. So your resume should be like you are working on a one domain. It may be web, Android, then gaming, machine learning, artificial intelligence. any domain.
All right.
So resume should be based on one domain at least, and based on that one project what you have done in your resume
All right.
on your domain.
Mm-hmm. All right. So any other tip or
So
yeah.
also in Kindle, so one thing is cloud computing, another one is AI. They will ask you questions based on AI, Alexa and all that.
So ask some
they'll
typical
ask you
question.
about,
Yeah.
for me they asked about Alexa, what is the technology behind it, and just a simple question. They want to know that you are aware of the trending technologies. So just do your homework in that.
All right. So any message? So then HR round was there again after this?
No,
No, it was a
everything was
combined.
mixed
All
up
right.
in the final
All
round.
right, all
So he focused a lot on how you deal with clients.
Clients.
All right. Okay. So any final message? I mean, of course, you've shared so much, already. But if you want to say anything else to the viewers or to your juniors,
So my suggestion is that from your first year to third year you stick on to one domain. But when a company comes for like example Kyndryl, if they mention they are coming for cloud compute, at least 1 week back do a course on cloud computing. You will be apart from your friends. You
Okay.
can get selected.
so you can do a course so soon.
Yeah, in
How?
1 week. There
Okay.
will be crash courses like 7 hours. Like many channel IntelliPad, they'll
These are free
yeah,
free
it's
courses.
free.
Okay, good.
6 hours course IntelliPad. There are many
Okay.
like great learning when
Okay.
they'll put up their videos in
All right.
YouTube. So for just 6 hours you'll get an overview of the role for which they are coming.
Okay. Well, that's a very good suggestion. All right. Anything that you would want to add?
I would like for my experience, I just practiced coding from Prepinsta, and I already had my friends placed in Kindle, so I had asked them about the topics.
Okay. So you had friends in other colleges?
Other colleges.
Okay. So Kindle had come beforehand.
All beforehand.
All right.
So I had
Okay.
asked them, and
Yeah, so good. So anyone who's applying for Kindle, if they watch this video, I think that will be easier for them,
Yeah.
at least for the juniors, because we had Kindle coming only this year.
Communication is a key for
All right.
Kyndryl.
Okay.
Communication.
Actually, that is important for every company, I guess.
Yeah.
Communication you can't get out without. You can't get away without
No one
communication.
helps you to prepare for communication. It's yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much. I'm sure this is going to help all of you. So it's bye from all of us till we meet again.